as they are, but there's about 45 of them. This will last about 45 minutes, and there we go. I will ask them in bunches of 15, and if the question, and then I'll repeat each one. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, watch out for me accidentally rephrasing a question to make it easier, and then actually make it too easy by virtue of giving out the answer. Okay, I think we have it. Oh yes, happy St. Patrick's Day. A drop of the good stuff. I'll let you guess what it is. It's very important to not wince when the entire internet is watching you drink good whiskey. I'll let you know it's whiskey spelled E-Y. You can work out where it's from. Okay, question one. Okay, yeah, there's very few Irish questions in this one, but here we go. Question one. What is the name of the female species of the rabbit? What is the name for the female species of the rabbit? For instance, a male sheep would be a ram. But what's the female species of the rabbit called? Oh yeah, so is the volume? So I'm still quiet. Okay, so oh, hang on, is it on? Sorry, Louise and Pat. Thanks for getting back to me. How does that sound? That sound okay? We'll catch that with up Facebook. Oh, we're only 5 minutes into the quiz. Question. I'm used to technical difficulties in public, but rarely I'm still pretty quiet. Okay, question 2. In which American state was the 2020 Super Bowl held? In which American state was the American Super Bowl held? Question 3, going back. I know I grew up in Ireland where we didn't have all the channels, but you might remember the TV show California Dreams. What was the name of the lead guitarist in California Dreams? An Irish band used the title for a song they released. Question 4. Well, we've 2 real name questions in a row here. Jeffrey Ross Hyman, Jeffrey Ross Hyman is the real name of which figure in the music industry? It was a rock singer. Question 5. I just see it. We're on 42 viewers on Facebook. Last week was Douglas Adams' the 42nd anniversary of Hitchhikers. Anyway, question 5. The answer isn't Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas is the real name of which figure in the film industry? Michael Douglas is the real name of which figure in the film industry? Question 5. What is the name of the channel that separates Ireland from Wales? Not S4C. What is the name of the channel that separates Ireland from Wales? The body of water. This is so workable. To the people, Pat, you can just write the answers at home. Not S4C. Oh, no, I'm listening to myself. What is the name of the channel that separates Ireland from Wales? Okay. It is very... That was fine earlier. So I'm going to blame foreigners. Question 7. 4 words in the answer. 4 words in the answer. In Star Trek The Next Generation, not Picard, because they've done a twist on it, but in Star Trek The Next Generation, how did Captain Picard order his tea? Good typing. Question 8. The date is the 17th of March. No, the date is the fruit of which tree? The date is the fruit of which tree? Here we go. Audio input. Okay, now it's sorted. I think that's sorted now. Yeah, that's looking good now. Question, not looking, sounding. Question 9 is a one-word answer. The answer is the answer is Irish based. Miroslav Havel, Havel, and Charles Bacik opened which iconic Irish company? Miroslav Havel and Charles Bacik opened which iconic Irish company? Hey, to computers never. It's like the toy show, except it's one guy drinking whiskey with way too many devices. I'm literally being left to my own devices, so I should take a selfie. I have a lot going on. Question 10. What is the capital of the Isle of Man? What is the capital of the Isle of Man? Hello to everyone on Twitter. I don't actually know how to like ye on the thing, but anyway, I like you verbally, and same to all the things. I'm going to be on YouTube tomorrow as well. I'm going to have all 4 going because some people aren't on any of the social networks. Also tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm doing another kids one. 6 or 7 years old to 10ish. Question 11. What was the name of the Irish-American playwright who wrote plays such as Moon for the Misbegotten, Long Day's Journey into Night, and The Iceman Cometh? The Iceman Cometh, Long Day's Journey into Night, and Moon for the Misbegotten are all plays by which Irish-American playwright? Question 12. Once again, there's 15 questions in each round. We'll do 3 rounds, which is a very short amount of rounds for Patrick's Day. I know. I hope you're all getting on okay. Question 12. The shape. What would you describe the shape of the cell of a honeycomb? The cells of a honeycomb. What shapes are they? Nothing beats a question you can actually argue over. But what would be the best known word to describe the general shape of a honeycomb? The cells within the honeycomb. Why did I try and show you how to do that with my fingers? Oh, anyway, okay. Question 13. Which maritime county in Ireland has the shortest coastline? Which maritime county in Ireland has the shortest coastline? There we go. I'm giving the people on Twitter have just barely seen my beautiful mouth. Question 14. Which Irish county is known as the Faithful County? What is the nickname? The nickname of which county is the Faithful County? Question 15 is a quick, simple A or B question. Who is older, Dylan Moran or Tommy Tiernan? Who's older, Dylan Moran or Tommy Tiernan? Simple, A or B. I'll repeat those questions. What is the name of the female species of the rabbit? That's not how you call it. What would you, or whatever they identify as. What is a female of a rabbit called? What is a female rabbit called? There we go. I've edited that. Just half the words of that question are gone now. In what American state was the 2020 Super Bowl held? Question 3. What was the name of the lead guitarist in the band and TV series California Dreams? Question 4. Jeffrey Ross Hyman is the real name of which figure in the music industry? As a clue, he's not alive. Question 5. Michael Douglas is the real name of who in the film industry? And the answer isn't Michael Douglas. Question 6. What is the name of the channel or body of water that separates Wales and Ireland? Question 7. 4 words in the answer. We're going with the Star Trek The Next Generation series. We're excluding Picard, the TV series. What 4 words did Picard use to order his tea from the replicator? Generally, he might have had a few occasions where there was a funny twist, but his classic order. 8. The date is the fruit of which tree? Question 9. Miroslav Havel and Charles Batchik opened which iconic Irish company? Question 9. What is the capital of the Isle of Man? Question 11. Which Irish-American playwright wrote Moon for the Misbegotten, Long Day's Journey into Night, and The Iceman Cometh? Question 11. What are the shapes of the cells that make up a honeycomb? 11. Which maritime county in Ireland has the shortest coastline? Question 14. Which Irish county is known as the Faithful County? And question 15. Who is older, Dylan Moran or Tommy Tiernan? I'll just give you a moment or two, go over your answers. Perhaps you'll swap them. I saw there's at least one team that have, or one people tuning in that have 8 people. Maybe you're in 2 teams of 4 or whatever. I am doing this as a reaction to losing all my work for the next while. I know many people are in the same boats. I'm even reading the names of the people tuning in. I've done a PayPal and a Patreon. It's the Quizness on either. The links are going to be on all my profile-y things. If you'd like to give me the price of a pint or pints or slab, whatever, I'll be doing 2 or 3 quizzes a day for the next fortnight, and we'll take it from there. And I'll be podcasting them as well. Anyway, dong. And also don't forget to support other local businesses and artists in your area. There's a lot of bars are selling vouchers, for instance. A lot of musicians maybe go to Bandcamp, buy one of their records, because this is going to be a crucial time. Anyway, swap your answers. Here we go. A female rabbit is called a doe, D-O-E. The American 2020, the American football Super Bowl in 2020 was held in the Hard Rock Stadium in Florida. The lead guitarist in the band and TV series California Dreams was Jake Summers. And if... thanks, Aoife. You can watch them in replay, and if you let me know your break times, even though you probably don't even get breaks allotted, I'll do a quiz during one of your breaks, I promise. Jake Summers was a song by, I think, Fight Like Apes. That was, I could be wrong. I occasionally am. Jeffrey Ross Hyman is the real name of Joey Ramone. Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas. The channel that separates Ireland from Wales is St. George's Channel. Picard used to order his tea Earl Grey, hot. I'm too hairy to do a great impersonation of him, but tea Earl Grey, hot. I have to wash my hands now because of COVID-19 touched my face. But anyway, the date that is the fruit of the palm tree is the date. Waterford Crystal was the company that was opened by Miroslav Havel and Charles Bacik. The capital of the Isle of Man is Douglas, the other end of the 207 bus route. Moon for the Misbegotten, Long Day's Journey into Night, and The Iceman Cometh were all plays by Eugene O'Neill. What shape are the cells of a honeycomb? They'd be best described as hexagonal. What maritime county in Ireland has the shortest coastline? It's Leitrim. What Irish county is known as the Faithful County? It's Offaly. It's Offaly. Faithful. And who's older, Dylan Moran or Tommy Tiernan? Dylan Moran was born on the 3rd of September 1971. Tommy Tiernan was born on the 16th of June 1969. So Tommy Tiernan is older. We're going to quick refreshing break. Feel free to type in the comments how well you did, or lie if you didn't do well and just come up with numbers. We'll go straight to the next round. I'm going to be doing a series of quizzes. So if you follow my Facebook or Instagram or what's the other one? Twitter, I'll be given a schedule soon. I'll be doing kids ones every morning. You can watch them on replay, but I think live is just a little bit funner. And we're going to do very specific quizzes and then general quizzes of varying levels of hardness. Question 1, 2-point question. He's in the news a lot at the moment. One is for the year, one is for the month. In what year did Simon Harris become Minister for Health? And for a bonus point, what month? And did I write it down? Oh, I yes. Yeah, I did. Question 2. In what town did the ancient kings of Munster reside? In which town did the kings of Munster reside? Question 3. In what Irish county is Boyle? In which Irish county is Boyle? Question 4. From what song, first released in 1991, are these lyrics from? So I'm just looking for the title of the song. You don't have to tell me the name of the band. Well, I didn't see much future when I left the Christian Brothers school, so I waved goodbye with a wistful smile and I left the girls of Tuam. Well, I didn't see much future when I left the Christian Brothers school, so I waved goodbye with a wistful smile and I left the girls of Tuam. What is the name of that song, please? Question 5. As a city, how old is Dublin? How old is Dublin? We're going by the year. Oh no, hang on. How are we going to go by this? It was founded, obviously, long before it was a city. We're going to go with, I think it was the Charter. Is that how you measure it? Oh, sorry. Let me get this right. And I'm aware that somebody I greatly admire is watching this on Twitter right now, who does walking tours of Dublin. I'm going to go with the Charter. Sorry. Yeah, we're going to scratch that question. That's gone. It's gone. Okay. Question 5 instead is, who is the only GAA player, men's GAA, I did not cross-check this against women, I apologise to Bronner. Question 6, who's the only male player to have captained both an inter-county football and hurling team in the same year? So who's the only person to have been the captain of both the inter-county hurling and football team in the same year of that county? Question 6. In which city did Ronnie Delaney win his Olympic gold medal for Ireland? Question 7 is a 3-point question. What are the three sisters? What rivers make up the three sister rivers? To Irish zoologists and to everyone who's watching, just for, I know there's a few people who have been to a lot of my quizzes, but I've never won a quiz in my life. This is me essentially acting out. I've never won a quiz in my life. Thank you. Oh yeah, so walking tours. Look up walking tour people. They can pre-sell tickets, maybe buy some tickets to go on their tour during the summer, because I'm a walking tour guide now, and I have 0 bookings. I actually had a booking, and I was like, I'm a professional tour guide now, and then I lost those bookings because of the COVID-19. So I feel like someone's stripping the stripes off me, like it was a soldier being kicked out of the army. Anyway, question 8. The first what of Ireland was buried in French Park, County Roscommon? The first what of Ireland was buried in French Park in County Roscommon. Question 9. When Lord Frederick Cavendish and Thomas Henry Burke were assassinated, it became known as what? The tragedy became known as what? When Lord Frederick Cavendish and Thomas Henry Burke were assassinated, did it become known as? Question 10. What television show are you watching if it stars Claire Danes, Damian Lewis and Maureen Baccarin? What TV show are you watching if you're watching Claire Danes, Damian Lewis and Maureen Baccarin? Thanks very much to the Facebook commenters. You're just out of the corner of my eye with the comments. I'm going to have to work out a way of doing both. I love this bit where I'm learning how to work this thing out. Question 11. Who is older, Bono or Enya? Who is older, Bonya? That's milk. What a great idea. I'm writing that down. That could be a virus ad. Virus? Comedy viral. Who is older, Bonya? Who is older, Bono or Enya? That's good. It's good whiskey and a good joke. Bono. Who's older, Bono or Enya? Question 12. What is the title of the film that this quote is from? An angel gets its wings every time you hear a bell ring. An angel gets its wings every time you hear a bell ring. It actually doesn't have anything specifically to do with Ireland, but I've watched it in Ireland, so that's how tenuous the Irish links need to be in this quiz, because we get plenty of people with very tenuous links to Ireland coming over on this date normally. Hello to all my American friends. I miss you greatly. And I actually do. I have a problem. My voice sounds sarcastic by accident a lot. Question 13. How many sides has a heptagon? How many sides has a heptagon? Question 14. What song first released... What song first released in 1995 are these lyrics from? Now let me welcome everybody to the wild, wild west, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to the chest. Pack a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. Now let me welcome everybody to the wild, wild west, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to the chest. Pack a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. Just looking for the title of the song there. And question 15, 2 points, 1 point for each. Surname is enough. What are the names of the two main cops in the Lethal Weapon movies? In the Lethal Weapon movies, what are the nicknames? What are the surnames? Surnames of the two guards. I'll repeat those questions quickly. 1 point for the year, 1 point for the month. When did Simon Harris become Minister for Health in Ireland? Question 2, in what town did the ancient kings of Munster reside? Question 3, in what Irish county is Boyle? Question 4, what is the title of the song that these lyrics are from? Well, I didn't see much future when I left the Christian Brothers School, so I waved goodbye with a wistful smile and I left the girls of Tuam. Question 5, who is the only GAA player to have captained both an inter-county football and hurling team in the same season? And to be clear, he was like the named captain for the season. It's not like for 5 minutes he wore the armband or whatever. Question 6, in what city did Ronnie Delaney win the Olympic gold medal for Ireland? Question 7, 3 points up for grabs, 1 point for each. What are the 3 sister rivers of Ireland? Question 8, the first what of Ireland was buried in French Park, County Roscommon? Question 9, Lord Frederick Cavendish and Thomas Henry Burke, when they were assassinated, what did the tragedy become known as? Question 10, what television show are you watching if it stars Claire Danes, Damien Lewis and Marino Baccarin? Question 11, who is older, Bono or Enya? Question 12, according to which film does an angel get its wings every time you hear a bell ring? Question 13, how many sides has a heptagon? Question 14, from what song, first released in 1995, are these lyrics from? Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest. Pack a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. And question 15, what are the surnames of the 2 guards, cops in the Lethal Weapon movies? Okay, another shout out to the people. If I had a drone camera, I'd probably find a reason to use it, but if I had a drone camera over, you'd see that I've just loads of old MacBooks and iPhones and iPads, just trying to cobble this whole thing together. I feel like a MacGyver. Oh, that's good. MacGyver, I'm writing that down. But I use a lot of things. I haven't bought a new Mac product in, I'd say, 12 years. Everything's secondhand, and then I drive it into the ground, and then at Mac in Penrose Wharf, restore it. They're brilliant. Go to them if you need to fix a screen or a phone or buy, anyway. And Tabletop, they don't fix Mac things. They keep you away from screens with board games. They're brilliant. They're on Castle Street. They're down in Bantry. They're friends of mine. I shout them out. They do vouchers. They sell them. They sell vouchers. They sell games. Look, I think you're not going to do a quiz and then be puzzled by the concept of a cafe. You know what they do. Okay. Wow. Okay. Swap your sheets if you need to swap your sheets. Here we go. Here's the answers. Simon Harris became the Minister of Health in May 2015. 1 point for May, 1 point for May, 1 point for the year. I can smell my dinner downstairs, so I've got distracted. The Kings of Munster used to reside in Cashel. What Irish county is Boyle? It's County Roscommon. Well, I didn't see much future when I left the Christian Brothers School, so I waved goodbye with a wistful smile, and I left the girls of Tuam is from N17 by the Saw Doctors. Bonus fact, that was the first cassette single I bought, and it's somewhere in my folks' attic. I'm sure it's worth thousands of memories. The only GAA player to captain both an inter-county football and hurling team in the same season. Little side point, no pun intended, but when it comes to GAA, if you don't know the answer, a good guess is always Jack Lynch. And the answer was Jack Lynch. Maybe that isn't true outside of Cork, but Jack Lynch is a safe guess in any GAA question. In what city did Ronnie Delaney win the Olympic gold medal? It was Melbourne in Australia. And hello to all the Australian people celebrating Patrick's Day. That's what you do in the commercial radio stuff. I'm like Marty Morrissey, but yeah. The three sister rivers of Ireland are the Barrow, the Nore, and the Suir. I'm sure. The first Wat of Ireland was buried in French Park, County Roscommon. It was the first Irish president, Douglas Hyde. That is not the whiskey I'm drinking. And it's also not Jameson, even though I like Jameson a lot. That's the one I drink. Well, I'm not going to have a... Look, it's hard to find a bad whiskey, but a certain fighter brought one out. Lord Frederick Cavendish and Thomas Henry Burke were assassinated, and it became known as the Phoenix Park Murders. The Phoenix Park Murders. What TV show are you watching? If you're watching Claire Danes, Damian Lewis and Maureen Baccarin, it's Homeland. Who's older, Bono or Enya? Bono was born on the 10th of May 1960, and Enya was born on the 17th of May 1961. So they're just over a year apart between them. According to which film does an angel get its wings every time you hear a bell ring? It's a Wonderful Life. How many sides has a hoptagon? 7. Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, blah blah blah, is the opening lines from California Love by Dr. Dre featuring Tupac. And because of the coronavirus worries, COVID-19 worries, means we can't travel much, so none of us have any need Tupac. And the surnames of the two cops in the Lethal Weapon movies it was Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh. Riggs and Murtaugh. Okay. Last round. Feel free to put your... Burr's favourite. Brilliant. Sorry, I'm distracted. But, like, I was saying in another stream yesterday, like, it's always annoying when the person in front of you is on their phone. I'm in front of you, like, interacting with myself on several screens. It's like... Do you remember... Oh... What was the 90s... This isn't in the quiz. What was the 90s film where... Was Sharon Stone in it? Where there was somebody operating loads of cameras in a whole apartment block? Sliver? Was that what it was called? Anyway, let me know, was that right? But, you know, it seemed crazy then. And now, look... I have at least 12, 15, 16 cameras in this room alone on all phones and stuff. That's mad. Hello, China. Okay, round 3, about to start. If you like what I do, donations are welcome. Even though not donations, contributions, whatever you want to call them. There's PayPal. You can message me. I'll link to them. There we go. Question 1. Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the music to which Boyzone song? No, when I started with Lloyd Webber, you did not expect Boyzone to be at the end of that sentence. Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the music to which Boyzone song? Question 2. Who is credited with being the first person to sign the 1916 proclamation? There we go. Now I remembered it. Question 3. A certain beloved character of Coronation Street left Coronation Street this week, I think. As in, they moved out of their home on Coronation Street. So, who was that? Who was that person? We're going for the character name, please. Question 4. 3 answers, 1 point for each. What were the 3 standard sizes of a floppy disk? I might as well put rolling things on my swivel chair now. Such a throwback question. What were the 3 standard sizes of floppy disks? To all the young people who are watching, when you use Microsoft Word, there's a little icon that looks, and you're like, what does that look like? That's what it was. It was a floppy disk when you used to save your work. Can you imagine that we used to save our work? Question 5. What is the only American state? I know there's a lot of American state questions. On Patrick's Day, we get into several states, all sorts of states. Question 5. What is the only American state that can be typed on a single row on a standard QWERTY keyboard? So, like that one. That's an upside down one. That's an Australian one. What's the only American state that can be spelt out with just the lines, with one single line on a QWERTY keyboard? Aoife on, which one is this again? Instagram? No, Paris. Whichever one. Aoife, you know who you are because I'm talking to you. We'll sink in. That'll be cool. Well, like, yeah. That's going to be great. Question 6. What is the dot over a lowercase I called? The letter I, when it's lowercase, there's a little dot over it. What do you call that? Question 7 is a 2-point question, 1 point for each. You two have been nominated for the Best Original Song in the Academy Awards on 2 different occasions. So you two have been nominated for the Best Original Song in the Academy Awards on 2 separate occasions. What were the 2 films? So I'm not looking for the titles of the song, I'm looking for the titles of the 2 films that those songs were from. While I have you, I have your attention, I would really appreciate any feedback you have. Ideally positive, but constructive as well is acceptable. Speed, how hard it was, too hard, not easy enough, whatever. Should I do like a really tough one sometime and a more accessible one? I'll be certainly doing themed ones over the next 2 or 3 weeks as well, because it's easy for me to be convinced my first idea is the best idea, but I'm aware that sometimes things can be tweaked. Question 8. In Roman numerals, I might as well have a drink ready for this one. In Roman numerals, how do you represent 1916? 1916 in Roman numerals, please. That was question 8. Question 9. What is the largest county in Leinster in terms of size? What is the largest county in Leinster in terms of like geographical size? Um, 10. Auricular muscle flexing is better known as what? Auricular or auricular? Auricular muscle flexing is better known as what? Auricular. Oh, I just thought of something now. Dictionary corner stuff. Question 11. Now, listen to the wording of this now. Which fictional character invented the everlasting gobstopper? Which fictional character invented the everlasting gobstopper? Question 12 is a multiple choice, A, B or C. Some of you might have one in your hands, but the answer is not written on it. And sometimes the answer is within it though. When was beer first sold in a can? Cans of beer, when were they first brought out? Was it A, 1925, B, 1930, or C, 1935? So 1925, 1930 or 1935? Question 3 is also an A, B or C question actually. Who said, "I drink to keep body and soul apart"? Was it A, Oscar Wilde, B, George Bernard Shaw or C, Samuel Johnson? So who said, "I drink to keep body and soul apart"? Oscar Wilde, Bernard Shaw or Samuel Johnson? And has the sound just dropped, Harry? Has anyone else lost the sound on Facebook? I'm going to do question 15 anyway. Can't hear. Bang. Sorry about this. I'm going to do question 15 anyway. Oh, it's coming out of mine anyway, Harry. So, question 14. Sorry. 4 points. 1 point for each. It's a real doozy. I should have probably asked it earlier rather than the last question. This is the last question. 4 bands have released the song "Whiskey in the Jar." One was in 1967, one was in 1972, one was in 1990 when the first band re-recorded it with another band, and both of them are Irish, and 1998. So 4 bands who have released the song "Whiskey in the Jar," and we're talking the actual song "Whiskey in the Jar." It's not when I was going over it, that one. Who are they? Here we go. Let's repeat those questions. Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the music to which Boyzone song? Question 2, who is credited with writing or being the first person to sign the 1916 proclamation? Which beloved Coronation Street character left Coronation Street this week, as in moved out of number 1 Coronation Street? Oh, hang on. Should I have done this? Yes. No, that's way too much light. Okay, we're going to... I look best on Twitter, it seems. I'm going to do some... Oh, brilliant. I'm getting more and more days. This is going to get great. I'm also going to put stuff up here like, hashtags or posters for gigs. That's what probably light bulbs. Anyway, I literally just had a light bulb moment about light. Wow. Question 3, 1 point for each. What were the 3 standard sizes of floppy disk in inches? To all the kids out there, it's a different way of measuring things. That's how we measure them in the old days. What is the only American state that can be typed out? What's the name of the only American state that can be typed out on a single line of a QWERTY keyboard? Question 6, what do you call the dot over the lowercase letter I? Yep. 7, 2 points, 1 point for each movie. U2 have been nominated for the Best Original Song at the Academy Awards on 2 occasions. What were those films? Question 8, how do you represent 1916 in Roman numerals? Question 9, what is the largest county in Leinster in terms of geographical size, like landmass? Question 10, auricular muscle flexing is better known as what? 11, which fictional character invented the everlasting gobstopper? Question 12, when was beer first sold in cans? Was it 1925, 1930 or 1935? Question 13, who famously said, "I drink to keep body and soul apart"? Was it Oscar Wilde? Was it Bernard Shaw? Or was it Samuel Johnson? And question 14, 1 point for each. 4 different bands have released the song, a version of "Whiskey in the Jar." Just to help, one was in 1967, one was in 1972, one was in 1990, and one was in 1998. What were the names of those bands? I really appreciate the comments, the people tuning in. We have 83 comments on Facebook. Now, to be fair, about half of them were about the microphone not being on at the start, but it still counts as traction. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Is there such thing as bad comments? Not on the internet. that's it, I suppose. So I'll be on again tomorrow doing a kids one, 10 a.m. I will do another grown-ups one as well at some point. Follow my media. What's basically happened is we have lost all sense of time. But one in the afternoon, let me know. And my friends Colm and Patrick are doing ones at 9:15. So I might do one at 11 p.m. Yes. 11 p.m. tomorrow. 10 a.m., 11 p.m. Sure, it's all time. Here we go. Thanks, everybody. If you enjoyed what I'm doing, tell your friends. If you didn't, tell your enemies. Please tell someone. You're literally my PR budget. Speaking of budget, there's a PayPal and a Patreon. Feel free to follow me. This is going to be going on regular for the rest of the internet. Well, my life anyway. The internet might outlive me. Anyway, swap your answers. Here we go. Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the music to No Matter What. The first person who's credited with signing the 1916 proclamation was Tom Clark. Ken Barlow was the first person. Well, was left Coronation Street this week, moved into a retirement home essentially. The 3 sizes of floppy disk, 3.5 inch. You might remember those ones, the most recent ones. Then 5 1/4. That was the first one. I remember playing. Somebody up in Ballinora, their dad had an Olivetti, and we used to play. I'd love to track down those games. And then 8 inch was the standard, one of the other standard floppy disks. I can't remember ever seeing one of those, but we're not past the watershed yet. None of that kind of chat. Alaska is the only American state that can be spelt on a single row of a Qwerty keyboard, the middle row, for me to tell you that. The dot over the letter I is called a tittle, Tittle. U2 have been nominated for the Best Original Song in the Academy Awards twice. On 2 different occasions. What were the films? One was the song was The Hands That Built America from Gangs of New York, and the second one was Ordinary Love, which I'd already forgotten. And I set this question like 2 hours ago. I'd forgotten the name of the song. I can't remember the song. I'll have to look it up again. From Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. There we go. That's the question, really. Question 8. How do you spell, or how do you represent 1916 in Roman numerals? MCMXVI. MCMXVI. This is a good time to use one of my favourite visual jokes, so everyone who's listening to this on the podcast is really going to miss out. A Roman guy walks into a bar and says, 5 beers, please. What's the largest county in Leinster in terms of size? It's Wexford. Auricular muscle flexing is better known as wiggling your ears. I can't actually do it, can I? If you're listening to this on the podcast, I can definitely do it. Oh, look at it. Ooh. Anyway, which fictional character invented the everlasting gobstopper? It was Willy Wonka. Roald Dahl invented Willy Wonka. When was beer first sold in cans? It was in 1935. So that was C, but you probably just went with the years. Who said I drink to keep body and soul apart? Oscar Wilde, Bernard Shaw, or Samuel Johnson? Like the Jack Lynch thing, if it's a quote question, it's generally always Oscar Wilde. And the 4 bands that released Whiskey in the Jar as singles over the years, the Dubliners released it in 1967. Then Tin Lizzy released it in 1972. Then in 1990, the Pogues released it with the Dubliners. And finally in 1998, Metallica released it. I'd argue that I just listed it in order of good versions as well, even though the Pogues version was good fun. Anyway, once again, that's the quiz over. I really appreciate you spending your time. Oh, wow, it's nearly an hour, right? I'll get better at tying that down. Thanks everybody for coming along. Tell your friends. Let me know your scores. Have a good rest of the evening. And I recommend, if you are watching live, going over now to see the Mary Wallopers on YouTube. They're going to be doing a session from their gaff. More high octane than a quiz, but less beard. Let that correspond? I don't know. Well, okay, we'll say goodbye to Twitter first, then Instagram, and then Facebook. Thanks everybody. Talk to you soon.